government dey on a two tax, and a two tax that they use for run the states.
But what is inside these budgets will assure we see there is going to be room for macroeconomic stability.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to another episode of the program Wan On Wan, where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV, na Facebook, YouTube, and also na our website. Wan On Wan na an extension of the conversation we can get that morning through we breakfast show. And this morning we look at climate change, the effects them way it gets to the environment. So this next again, we will continue the discussion. As we all know, climate change don't become an emergency, and we don't see leaders them all over the world, don't they meet and get conversation them on how the various country them for take climate action. Women say waiting and they do for make sure say they tackle issues them where they affect the environment, and part of the climate change and waiting it don't they do to the environment. Recently we don't they see one new term where the experts they call heat wave. Waiting at this heat wave, you go know that the program this net, and waiting country them don't they do for address them. Well, for help me talk about climate change and some of the effects them to the environment. This net I want to welcome Gabriel Parker, the Deputy Director, a come out from the Meteorological Agency, when then they in charge for read the weather and give citizens them weather forecast, waiting them for expect in terms of weather, and also now next part where camper issues them what they do with weather and how the weather they affect the environment. Good evening, Mr. Parker, and welcome to the Wan On Wan program.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me.
All right. As I don't tell viewers them this net, we they can look at climate change, how it don't they affect the weather pattern. We don't they see things that we not normal. I can say for the past 5 years, when the build up they come na Salonia, rains supposed for the 6 months in, 6 months out, but that pattern they don't change. Better rain they not come, especially this past rainy season. Different twist, different turn. A lot of people are confused, and this affects with farming season. This affects productivity in terms of agriculture. Firstly, una from the Mets, una be done they study the weather pattern, una be done they get the information say we get for each year. How una be done they advise relevant authorities?
So yes, so from the Met agency side, we know say every year we get the way they operate. Of course, the first one is before the start of every season, we use the data that we'll get to analyze for see what they expect. That is for the rainy season and also for the drying season. So last year for the rainy season, in April, the Met agency used 30 years data. Of course, from all the weather show get across the country, we try to understand what they happen, and definitely we tell people then say, go for experience less rain, because the data that we collect, we pass them through, we software them and try to give you the complexion of what they expect. And also for the dry season, we don't do similar one, but this year we do them on a quarterly basis for try for see what the temperature changed, and from the projection, there is an addition of 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in the temperature. So that's not the first aspect, because the first aspect is like we push through for get around the seasonality. So people understand whether you're going to get back the 6 month rains and 6 month dries, and they'll push onto the public. Then after that, now we go to we quarterly bulletins, and normally we say we try for look into the climate and push to the public, then the different sectors and of what they expect, maybe what they expect within the quarterly basis, and then that goes into the daily weather forecast where they push to the public. And now we can do like for this outlook year in year out to make sure say we organize a kind of a workshop where we invite different stakeholders and make them understand what we get from we projections, and also we even give also to them a recommendation how they go for the resilience to the change in climate they expect. And also when it comes to the daily weather forecast, we send out the public, and also there's an explanation for people to understand the content. So this is nothing that what they do, and also for engaging to an immense engagement with the public. So we don't do them over the years, and also this year also go for continue for do them even before the start of the rain, because we don't go prejudge as it stands, say what do they expect for 2024 rain now. The only thing we for tell them when do they expect for 2024 rain in when we go to the month of April, where you get to they call the handcast and the forecast, of course, element of this for forecast. And until they become matured enough. So when you push on the, of course, with data, they will tell you what they expect, of course, and the country. But I will tell you that for the past years, Salone don't experience a drastic change in the climate, of which, as you rightly said in your intro, is that we're not getting the 6 month rain and 6 month rise. In fact, from a climatology, we just get like a full blown of rain within 2 month period. All the other periods then are just like a kind of like a variable rainfall the way they occur in the country, and definitely they affect all the sectors. The food security and the food system are one of the greatest, I think, sectors will become affected, because Salone, like any other country, we farmers them. These are the subsistence farmers mostly, and they rely into using the local climate knowledge they get, and also using their local varieties. So year in year out, this is even when we do the assessment, some people they use the local variety, they plant, they harvest well. But that's where the Met Agency comes in for getting the information, and also we get some areas that we are in because of the heat wave, the temperature they increase in the country, the water level they go down. You know, in those days, if you try for page back, let's say 10 years ago or 20 years back, when people they want water, one dig water well, will not be noticed they call borehole safe. You know, you just dig few meters down, you don't get the rain. But now, you know, now could they get the advent of the borehole, where you need for dig deeper for getter, because the more you get temperature they can at the ground, they make sure say the water now they swell, they lost, they make the soil they become arid, and then the water level they become far below. And also they see the resemblance of strong winds, so they happen across the country. You know, say breeze they blow so strongly. Some people they rooftop they go, you know, they affect, and also they get the emergence of early thunderstorm and lightning. So these are the things we don't observe, of course, from the agency side, the way they happen. And last year, from we international body and the World Meteorological Organization, when they in charge for regulate the Met Agency, because it's good for viewers and see all what they do is based on international best practices. You know, Met Agency not like any other agency, maybe so they grab, we develop your own guidelines, and now when it comes to the guidelines of heat wave or the guidelines of meteorology for agriculture, meteorology for marine, for aviation, the international body they give them guidelines. We say each and every country now we try for follow, and we also share data with international partners. So then data then they use normally even when we say they push out someone into the public. So last year, with the data we supplied to them, we made for understand say now the hottest year on record, now the whole world, not only Sierra Leone. And of course, it's something we say even Sierra Leone itself, we don't discover say it's the hottest on record, and also they try for brace up for hotter days as they go through.
You say let we brace up for hotter days as we go through, and even now when at January, today before we reach to this level, where they talk about how climate change don't become a problem to various countries, especially to the environment. December to January, na hamatante, na cool season, but now we they get way above 30 degrees. This is just January, and for we Salone na March people for expect hot days them. Waiting we for expect from this January to March, and if people begin experience this kind of weather, waiting for do from the expert's point of view.
So first, I will talk about the expectation is that what do they expect going forward? From that we do from the January, February, March, of course the 3 months projection I for do. Definitely there is a warming trend where we don't see into it, and the warming trend is that it start like with a cooling system in January a bit, as we go by it don't increase. So they expect the month of March, especially the March 23rd, 15, and so going to be one of the warmest. So they go for the increase a lot more as they go by. And then increase in temperature, definitely people therefore know say one, when they talk about heat wave, it don't go beyond with normal maybe temperature they get. Because try that, I want to say tell you, Freetown is a place that we've never been experiencing a temperature of 30 degrees. No, that's not Freetown. Because you know, so you get the coastal areas where they give you fresh air, where they come in and create that temperature there. But now, Freetown is projected to get up to 31 degrees. Just recently, you look through weather forecasts, they get Freetown, they get 21 degrees, 31 degrees, 32 degrees Celsius. It goes to areas like, you know, the central north, like Makeni, you can get weather station itself. It get a temperature up to 38 degrees Celsius. And the reason being that, the sun, they rise from the east. So the eastern part of each part now, they will not get too much of dryness because the sun they rise, and then when you come at the northern part, you stay a lot of time there. So in northern areas, if there are areas and they don't get too much vegetation, definitely it will lead to then dryness and so. So that's what we are expecting for this particular time. So, which means one, you go for get unstable atmosphere, never be stable definitely. Breathing system, you go for even lead to some of the dust go for the within the atmosphere. And then what we don't they try for advise people then for me they do going for this one. I will start with the long-term approach. That is looking to people to advise them, let them go into planting of trees for themselves. I remember those days because when you get trees, it creates for you that particular temperature. Before Christmas, we go for do some assessments now. Most of them outskirts, Batcan, the other area, the then village area, then even up to the likes of the bonds. Because they get trees there, it is say even the place when we go on the tree, the place they become very cold enough. So one, they try for the people then even own up onto themselves. Let them try for the plant trees in their compound. Because free time to precise, if you go to any compound, also you don't dilate, you get blocks there. If you don't dilate, then definitely these are things that we say they get high affinity for the sun ray. And they absorb most of the sun itself, the swelling. So at night the place become very warm. That is one. And then secondly is that for law adapt, let what they take, of course, drink a lot of water because the moment the place warm, it makes sure they perspire, so they lost a lot of fluid from your body. But of course, the medical people will tell you, you want for a blaze fluid, normally it's better when you use like of a juice or so, but like people then drink a lot of water. And then we advise you if some people that they work within an environment, if you don't get much for do outside, definitely have to get less thing outside. The only thing we say good for we, and from the African region is that like we were so much resilient, we do adapt to any kind temperature where they happen. But this is the thing, because like the temperature we record now in this country, when they not the heat wave threshold, if the likes of developed countries where they used to cold weather, the expanded particular temperature definitely it causes a lot of life because from studies don't prove say there are certain temperature maybe say they take some medication for the under that particular temperature it lead to them thing and also even ourselves and the building code itself as something for looking to now because salon deals into building a house up to like 10 coats and left hand small rooms then. So if you get them one and then the place hot, anybody get a kind of a disease itself. So quickly you go for transfer the up to other people then. So also met with the advisable in that areas and that when they build, make sure so you get taller places, taller building itself. It's the coast up to then 12, 14 itself, and then make a place become very spacious. And then you go for know how you plant your window system so that at least you will get a lot of wind. Because like all part of the country get the sideway wind they can. So side will be see now more now southwesterly wind the breeze they come off from. If you don't see the breeze they can you put you wind that they get much. But you make against the wall is there and then they be say it affect me a lot more. But these are things we say some companies normally then can come and ask you for them this time and they again we can provide them advice to people them. And also the other thing is to pollution itself. During the dries and because of the dirty that they put across, you get a high temperature, it increase what they call fermentation. So any small thing, it rotting quick. And when rotting quick, the smell it a lot around. It's just like we're gonna bomb. So when they now bomb, definitely you go for affect them, because now you go for then totally the rotting fast and then they smell and so people then go for know how they go use the waste system. I don't know whether we can do this, but there are certain parts some of us have seen. Outside Sierra Leone, they always then like an area then they dig hole. They dig a better hole, concrete time, where they don't put them to them come and they don't they. Where they come, they pull and they put them go for good tree and far away. And also maybe as a country also try for looking to recycling or maybe sampling of waste and then incineration. Incineration is that like you get a whole building itself, very big. We be say the central government will get a very big building. They collect all of them different waste and they when it come it inside an enclosure and then they can burn them. Because if they outside you burn them definitely it cause most of them effect. And so now plant trees, the use of water itself, and also they'll try to see how they use with land, the land use change itself. Now in the dry season, not go see any type of a hill, for example, you just for go build it or you go build a swampy area because you go for no say the water level increase in the area and then will affect people there. And then the policy also follow implementer. So these are some of the actions there. And then the farmers themselves may not rely again. I will tell them publicly and for me to understand say that the whole idea of it and May, June for the plants, and of course definitely the able working more that more, because now the weather don't become so complex. I remember when some of us joined the Met agency, when we met we bossed them by then, 2010, and so we are in the weather. People they just kind of do watch the weather. You see, in the next 20 minutes again they come, but now they happen so again. You got to look into the system itself and then they publish. And so we should say, anytime we engage them, we send them information to them, may they use them. In fact, now that makes sense. We get a lot of farmers community then would already develop, and we engage them on a day-to-day basis.
All right, in case you just tune in, they watch the one-on-one program where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV, na Facebook, YouTube, and also na our website. Make sure you're part of the conversation this net. Drop we comment on any of the platform them where they watch. We will still get Gabriel Parker, whether the Deputy Director from the Meteorological Agency. This net will talk about weather and how the human activity them where they unbog the environment, don't they affect the weather safe as well, and other things them where they unbog the environment to notice say they experience hot season and self this particular in the season way pass the country no experience better in them, and this may affect the farming season as well. When they talk to Gabriel, we don't they talk about heat wave, when I imagine one where lots of people in various countries they experience, they just don't tell we say we for brace up now for hotter weather them from this January this to February. And they come back to you, Gabriel, you they see other country them, they take immediate actions for tackle climate change. But when we look at Salone not only do too much for go beyond just we get climate change action plans, we get climate change strategy. The action itself, people not only see it, una the experts them. How una don't they urge the relevant authority them for let them know see this is an emergency, we need serious actions.
Yes, in fact, the very first thing is that we don't tell different actors and also our supervisors them for understand say within a critical decade. So the critical decade is from now on to 2030 is very critical. If we not take action, the climate change impact will be high increase itself. So one of the things that we don't push through is that one is for submission of programs and projects under we policies them. So within the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change itself, through the Permanent Secretary and also the political head, the minister itself, we don't get a group of technical people then from diverse sector, the Met Agency, the EP and others, we will look into for even develop a project for submit, because say under the UN body, we get a program they call the JEF and the GCF and Election Fund, then they for support climate change projects. So don't look say one, we go for submitting project them. But we cannot only rely on them project them. Another request, so we say we don't ask for far too long is to see that Lord will try for institutionalized climate change actions into the policies and programs and budgetary system. And good enough now, you don't say most agencies and institutions all get climate change department, which is good. Tourism have a climate change department. I was made to understand yesterday when I met with the Deputy Minister of Health when we were meeting. Of course, definitely never get a climate change department on creative for climate and health. Of course, and the Met Agency, the EPA has, and then the good news is also that the Ministry of Finance don't get what they call the green budgeting, of which we then get the climate change unit. We don't get a special fund for implementing climate change actions. So as you say, it has to go into action now. It's not a time for policy. If a policy, we get all the policies then. So it's time for we, the different actors and the different agencies then, when government give you your budget system, there is no sector you say is standalone when it comes to climate change action. Even when it comes to the youth themselves, even when it comes to education. So we just try for, of course, talk to the heads of agencies and other professionals that at least they use a particular fraction or percentage of a budgetary system for climate change action. The Met Agency, I will tell you, say like more than 70% of we budget system they go into climate change action. So it's like one. Also going forward, as we are using the normal budgetary for implement climate change action, we're also looking forward to see when quickly as possible that we'll get a dedicated budget, definitely for implement climate change action on the side of the government. Because at that the UN body they look at, they try for all government institutions forget an initiative of budgeting system so that this will implement. Just like when it's a free quality education, there's an amount. Let there be also a budget maybe for climate change action of an amount, if it is 5% of the central budget, and then we implement them. Because by that way, we go get a kind of a fast track of an action going forward. And another one we say is very, very critical, and I think what we say we need for bank on is the UN agencies, because the UN agencies, they have different portfolio with a lot of funding when it comes to that. You know, the UNDP, the World Bank, the FAO, the IFAD, Save the Children, you name them, ACF. So when we try to talk to them, say then also that they will include climate change action into their portfolio. We also never get a designated portfolio, so then they are for children or youth, but just they call on them also made them try for look into we policies them and implement. And when they implement this climate change action, it will be good enough that experts, of course, from a different end, we go day and try for even advice and try for take stock, because within the UN system, also for climate change, we are expected as a country every year for report to how we don't do when it comes to climate change actions. We don't want to, because when it comes to December, Sierra Leone is on a reporting of what we have done already. So even the Ministry of Lands themselves, we are also pushing for them to have a climate change actions, you know, and other people. Then. So these are the only way we see we be able for get some concrete action, because when it comes to the policies are here. We have a very good document them. Our policies is straightforward. You
so
go
within
online,
the tap on and not for implement them very good policies there.
Well, with the implement them, but the only thing is that is the aggression towards the implementation. That's, for example, how go for implementing as quickly as possible, because the policies can get time. In fact, one will be said by 2025 for implement some action there, 2030 to 2035. But the backlog normally affect is that is funding. Because those policies are not like just as the document itself. So it's the funding itself, nine are the constraint for implement the policies then. Because within we don't even identify a financial mechanism for implement them. One of them is using the government budget, of course, which we are using, but also another one is we've been calling for get a dedicated budget when it comes to climate change action. That's why, in fact, now with the UD engage with the climate change in the Ministry of Finance, we are pushing forward. And the idea is that maybe by next financial year, when they are presenting budget, there will be a separate budgeting system, other than people the recurrent budget that's catered for climate change actions. That's the one. And the other one is they project them. But the only thing when it comes to projects, these are probable, because you can submit projects to the UN agencies, them it take a lot more for implementing them, you know, because it takes more than 2-3 years before they are being approved. And I also tell you, the problems with the implementation is the funding for implementing actions. And never mind, there are some recipe of actions we do, but need for increase them is going forward.
All right. We don't talk about waiting una they do as experts them and waiting the authority themselves supposed for do, but even the human themselves who they live in the environment get their own role for play for ensure say them protect the environment, because we don't see a lot of inhuman activities and they cut stick, then they burn bush, then they bank the water, which can cause flooding during the rainy season. And Salondo experience lot of problems in the environment. So they experience landslide, they experience flooding, and a whole lot of other one them. How the people them for join on in this fight for get climate action?
I think in this climate action, as you already said, the people that are there for be the front runners. One is may they accept the fact of the science. And you know, when we start this climate change, I will tell you way back, people don't really understand the climate, they don't really accept them. But now it's good people to understand, say the climate change is here and then it's happening. You know, say even the way they get the rain will happen again, the way the temperature can happen again. So one thing they expect from the people them is we don't need to tell this over and over and again. First, I will start for talking even with the land tenure system. You know, say the land, some of them are owned by government, some of them are owned by what? Community or private people. The government land, definitely, you know, say policy driven. Then already areas that we've identified as parks, area, you know, for build, area where they for sell. But you get then community and individual land, so basically then just they sell land illicitly because they want money. So one they for no say area that we be saying like na swamp, these are protected areas. Nobody no get right for selling swamp areas and for build, because when you build it already, you don't prone yourself to disaster. And also the hilly areas then, that a particular hill, especially at the foot of the hill and other areas, and these are areas that we say they should be protected. Let them be very careful even when they try for acquire the land, because the problem starts from there. Then another one is when we give an action or a directive, for example, the Met Agency, we know they enforce. We just advise. So we also call on public them when we advise you on some of their actions, and this nothing what we don't see when they say is based on evidence. They put are there and then push through. So one is also like when we watch the clip, of course, this in the morning hours, we see, for example, we are in some areas of the bank. There is no place where they say for accept say if for bank water. That then not they put that them back. They're not able to do that water day. You know, it's just like you're trying to satisfy yourself for your actions. Because the only way possible for bank water is when governments use the dike, the seawalls, you know. So people they need for those. In fact, if you look within the real aspect when it comes to for you to be resilient, every area within the sea areas, if you are 500 to 1,000 meters away from the sea, the only way you would be very close to the sea if we be say the sea day and then the enclosing area be saying a hilly area. But imagine within an area be saying a flat land. And put it go be very close to them place than they. So that now, so people get need for left the areas where they very close to the sea. Now make you look at the beach area, for example, now government the supervisor on other areas. Now just temporary structure for the very close to the water side because you never know when the disaster they strike. Another area again like the clustering of housing. You know, them prone areas and it's really bad, you know. Because when they cluster housing, because one, you know, they plan better for like get a very good drainage system, they get a very poor drainage system, and that also the affect them. So they call on people them because for me, they part of the fight. Then also they make sure say they get a very good drainage system in the areas whenever they try for build. Not go buy a land, you build an area, you go block. Because don't see a very scenarios where they go block even a waterway. And then it's all when disaster can it happen. At the past 110 and at Jue, you see some side and they be say done the bridge, they try for build, they don't stop them. And
so even they build on that rock.
On that rock themselves, you know, they see the rock in the build. So you self as a person, you get the responsibility for protect your life and you picking the life there, you know. And we they give so many take their action there. And also one made not trivialize when it comes to government action. Because now, for example, the enforcement agencies definitely be the NDMA and others need for try for evacuate some people in their areas and they. But now the fear comes in the moment people have been evacuated, they take it to a different form. I think there's time we be say we enforcement agency we need for take for example the concrete actions them, you know. People are not fit for their area. Let's try and remove them as quickly as possible, or else definitely going forward, definitely. So people then we talk to them. We are all in this together. We are just here representing all of us. So we're going to advise them and try to take the concrete actions so at least they're not going to become affected. Because now the place don't become they become one. But definitely when it comes to rainy season, you don't forget the erratic rains. They will say within 2-3 days, flooding they come and then they cause loss of lives and then properties.
All right, Fambu, I know say you don't listen to the experts, you don't watch, and you don't get your understanding, but what it mean for protect the environment and for join the call where then they call for join the climate action campaign where they go on now, because as you know from Gabriel Parker, we for brace up now for more hotter days them ahead of we as Freetown don't begin experience over 30 degrees now. Women say inside January it really hot. You self get responsibility for protect the environment. Not do the thing them where they unbog the environment. I hope you enjoy this episode of One on One. Also we'll give education today about climate change and how it affects the environment. And if it affects the environment, the weather safety be affected. Many thanks to you, Gabriel Parker. We join in at the studio this night. Can share your expertise so that viewers them will get a clear understanding of the weather and how climate change they affect the weather. We will continue for bring you time to time as we experience the hot weather we don't make up, we don't prepare, we mind them for. Many thanks we join with this night.
Yeah, thank you very much, Khadija.
All right, now so the end the program One on One for today edition. Many thanks to the technical team we support for making our watch. We continue for watch Liberty Online TV for your credible and factual information as they bring on different program them. We go be educative, entertaining, and safe. We believe in inclusion. Also, they bring on a diverse voice them to the various conversation them who they get na this platform. Mina Khadija Bangura they say have a good night.
plenty